Hello, and welcome to my first live broadcast of my game development I'm doing in the Unreal Engine 5, doing some work for a game that I'm calling SuckCity, in which you are a little tank and you're roaming around this city solving missions for NPCs as they're located around the city. I've got a fair bit amount of the environment work already done. I still need to add in a lot of the detail stuff into this level. Um, I've got a system set up for traffic so that the cars will follow along with all of these lines. I've got pedestrian walkways, which are these blue lines with pedestrians on them. You can see the cars are set up where they have a slow down some more, and some stop, so that if anything gets in front of them, they will act accordingly. They do not, however, stop for the tank. The tank will get smashed if it gets run over. But let's hop in and I'll start playing the game here so you can kind of see what's going on. I've got a system set up now for text. Obviously, this level would load in the background, so you wouldn't see all that kind of slowdown. But I've got a whole system set up for text, so I can go in here and I can go through the text items. If you want to stop it from doing that, you can hit the A button and it will switch you. And this is the tank. So you can see there's one of my NPCs. As you get closer to him, he'll start waving. I need to fix the animation so it doesn't go into his head. But and then I've got zoom levels, so you can zoom in and out. Here comes one of the cars. I'll get out of the way. You can see the tank drives around like this. The tank can also fly, which has a little bit of an effect like that. So you can fly around the level. There's also these objects here that you can interact with. So if I have objects that are smaller than the tank as far as weight goes, right now my tank weighs 2 kilograms. This bottle obviously weighs less than my tank, so you can see I can push it around. I can also suck it into my tank like that, which then shows up in my sucked up items list. This is used for in missions where we want to collect stuff. So you can collect things, you can shoot them, out they go. So you can shoot things out. My goal is to use this as some way to make it where you have to collect certain objects and then utilize them in certain areas in order to get to things. So it could be things like, you have to pick up some boxes. You have to get big enough to pick up a few boxes. Then you can do this, and then that will allow you to then jump up onto the boxes to go up further and further into the level. I also have a fuel system, which you can see we're slowly weren't burning down the fuel. If you're flying like this, you burn fuel faster, which you can see as it's ticking down there. So you can fly up and do that. And then I'm going to have these power-ups throughout the level so that way if you need additional gas, you can suck up gas through here and it will bring your fuel up. You can also see the tank temperature goes up as you're sucking up stuff. That's the right trigger, allows you to suck stuff up. So if you're in here and you're sucking, you'll see that the temperature goes up. If you suck for too long, like let's go ahead and let it suck all the way to the temperature reaches the top capacity. So there it goes. You'll see it start smoking, and as it's smoking, there's no ability now for me to suck up objects. So it just will not suck up anything when it's smoking. So if you let go, let the temperature go back down, you'll see then I'm able to suck the objects again. You can also suck up more than one item, which I'll show you by doing a mission here. So if I go in here, you can see it opens up a new quest. It shows you sort of your objective on the bottom left there, what you need to do. I have a missing apostrophe character in my font that I got to fix, so it's got a little bit of an issue with that. But you can see as the dialogues happen, it allows you to see different people, NPCs you can add in there through the dialogue system, and I'll go through that here in a little bit. But you can see you can get through that. And here I've got a very basic mission, just collecting donuts. So we can collect these donuts here. 1 donut collected. 2 donuts collected. 3 donuts collected. 4 donuts collected. Now you can see it changed to head back to the officer. So you can come over here to him. Once you get up to him, Then it says take the donuts back to where the mission started. So we did that. Let's give them back to the, shoot them right at him so he collects them. And the quest is completed. I don't have the quest log set up yet there. That's something I still need to do. But you can see that now the dialogue stuff finishes. And there we go. There's a completed mission. So mission systems set up enough that you can create really basic rudimentary missions. I'm obviously going to add more objective types that you can do. But so let's start looking a little at the back end of what is going on inside of my game. So if we go in here, I've got a bunch of blueprints built out for this game. First one to look at is BP Tank, which has a ton of stuff inside of it. This is the actual tank item, tank right there. In VR, I've got it right now where if you are playing it in VR, you can see that it'll show you the heads-up display here instead of in the top left. That way you can still tell what on earth is going on in this level. This is the suck direction amount. So this one has in here, whereas you're pulling the trigger, it calls this update suck level, which will increase or decrease the size of this so that will give you your collision box that will allow it to know when it is coming in contact with an object that it can suck up. Lots of stuff going inside of here. Event begin play. This is once the level starts. If we're outside of the main menu, it will go in here and run false here, which then will run through and get basically all of the inputs set up. The original text box, which gives you sort of your how-to stuff and adds that to the viewport. So that's that fun. And then in here, possess tank, which has to be done so that you can possess this actor right there. Tank controls, you can see here on Event Tick, which I know you're not supposed to do much of, but I just had to do some of this in Event Tick. I'm getting the left and right controls. If they're not equal to 0, then it's getting the level name, it's going through, it's updating the speed, the location as long as you're not in the main menu. So that's if you're inside the level. Updates the speed, updates the rotation, takes this, updates the weight, or takes the weight, multiplies it by 0.001, and that's what updates the fuel level. So that's how we're making that fuel level go down. Adding movement input based on the values we have for the controller. Look at the tank suck. If the tank's sucking, then we'll update the temperature level as well. So make the temperature go up. Here's the suck levels. So that's where I was talking about that we will update the level amount of the suck that it can do. And then here is if input key is down, we're making a variable set. So checking if it's hovering or not. So that's how we can tell if the tank is flying. Then we have tank sucking. This one is a little convoluted, but it works well. So once you pull the trigger, it sets the collision because we don't want us colliding with that in any instance where we're just driving around in the level. We only want it when it's sucking. Turns on a variable so we know that we're sucking. Comes in here. Here's another collision enabled for the tank suck itself. Then we go in here and here's where it's scaling it based on what the current value is. That's where I was talking about it going in and out. Then it starts going through some for loops to check what items there are in there. Comes through, checks to see if it's a suck it item. So that's like the bottle, which didn't have anything to do with the mission, but just as an object in the level. And then we have power up here, which is the gas can. So it does two different things based on which type of item is added to the level. Then coming over here, this is tank vomit. So this is when you spit the object back out. I still need to work on this a little bit. I think that I could make it a little better so you can control a little better with where the shot actually goes. Sometimes it shoots it way up in the air. Sometimes it shoots it nice and straight. I have it based on the vector direction that you're going, and I think that there's some more logic I need to solve there to make sure that happens. Lots more stuff here. Hovering the tank. This is a good one. Whenever the tank falls over and flips over, so it's on its top or its side or something like that, this is where it will flip the tank back over to its upright position, and then it will disable gravity and it will start to allow it to float with that hover tank right there. This is that hover the tank logic. This gets it going, moves it up, and then as long as it is going upwards, there's a height that's a max height that it will allow. As long as it's underneath that max height, it will continue to go up until it hits that max height, and then it will hover at that state. There's the zoom level for the camera that I showed off, so you can use the wide button on the controller and it will change your zoom levels. More of the zoom level fun. The pause menu, which doesn't do a lot yet, but it does open up and you can go back to the main menu. Here's triggering a mission. So this is if the select button's hit and a mission hasn't been triggered. Looks to see if the NPC mission blueprint character is inside of the items here, and it will loop through those and find which one's overlapping, and it will trigger the mission, and then starts with some of the changing of the mapping context, because you'll go into a menu when you first get it, so then it will change it so your controls are for the menu system instead of for the input. It will go through. I'm using a system called Quest Graphs that allows you to create these quests. It's really easy to use. It allows you to create these sort of timeline-y kind of things that show exactly what is going on within your mission. So here is the start of the mission. You can set what kind of task you want. I've got 4 task types created right now: talk to NPC, give item to NPC, go to a specific location, and collect an item, which all 4 of those are being used here in this one that I was testing out. So here's collecting of the donuts. You can set how many of them you want to collect. Inside of here, you can set what exactly item it is that you're wanting it to collect. So you can set that, and that will make sure that it only does those ones. These are the ones for the police objective. So anyone that is tagged inside of this blueprint here, these ones will be the ones that are the ones specific for this one. Here's the task to go back to the location. So you can see there's a location spot that I set with a threshold, a radius. So anywhere within this radius, it's going to trigger this. This one I'm going to change. Instead of saying this, I'm going to go ahead and just alter this since while I'm in here, because I noticed this. This is give the donuts to the officer. That makes more sense. And then here is give officer thanks. This is the task talk to NPC. So then you can see in here is the data table that does that, which I can show off if I bring it up here. Pretty straightforward. It's just a dialogue line and then the headshot. So you can see here's the police one. So talking, then the tank talks, so it changes to that one. You can easily flip-flop between textures to choose which of these sort of screenshots of the people are, so you can see what's going on. It's got that going on. Let me save that. This is my my thruster, which you can see there. There's the thruster. That's the rocket engine that's underneath the tank as it goes. And what else I've shown? Oh, yeah, this one's a good one. So this is the SuckCity item, which also has a bit of code inside of it. The SuckCity items are basically every single thing you can add to the level. They're all inside of here. So let's see what we got going on here. This is the suck collision. So you can see if you have an object here like this bottle, it's got the item, but it also has a suck collision. This is generated at the beginning of the level, so you can't see it doesn't really have any size right now. But this and this are both generated based on the mesh that is selected. So it takes the mesh size and it runs the calculation to then generate a sphere that sort of maps with whatever the size of the current object is. That way they will scale up as these objects change as sizes, or depends on which one I drop into the level. The suck collision is where it will be able to actually be sucked up to. The item collision is much smaller, and that is when the tank itself, which has a little nubbin here, see that little red nubbin? When that little red ball interacts and touches the item collision of this, that's what triggers the tank to know it has sucked the object up, and it destroys the item and adds it to the inventory of the items that the tank currently has sucked up. The cool thing about the way I built these suck it items is it makes building stuff out in the levels really easy. So, for instance, like if I come over here to an area where I'd been adding a bunch of littler objects over here into this level, you can see there's quite a few objects here for us to look through. But like for instance, if I wanted to add another object, I could easily do this, uh, slide it over. There's a duplicated object. I can drop it down onto the floor if I want with the N button. But now I can do this. So if you look over here, uh, you have all these drop downs that I've set up, which are the different types of objects I have available for me within the system. So if I wanted to say add a different kind of food here, like let's say if we wanted to add in a burger randomly on the ground. Obviously that's a very big burger. We can scale it up and down as necessary. Let's see, we can go to like a big giant carrot. We could add a coconut to the level. There's lots and lots of things that can be added, but let's pick something here. Let's do, how about a frying pan? And I need to come up here and set its scale to be more consistent with what it needs to be in the level. That looks good. So now I have a frying pan in the level, and the cool thing about this is there's a data table that does all of these items, which is hooked up to a CSV file. So then I can, in Google Sheets, I can update, add items, whatnot into these, and it will, then I can hit re-import, and it will re-import from the CSV file. So I have an easy way of doing like inventory management and stuff like that as I'm going through this. But you can see that inside of the Suckit objects folder that I've got in here. So if you look inside of here, you'll see there's structures, there's general blueprints, which is the tank size. Here's the data table. So you can see like if I went into the food one, here's all of my items that are available for using inside of this game. Each item's got an item mass, which that's important because the item has to be weigh less than the tank in order for it to be sucked up. So these item masses come into that value. So I have this is the name of the mesh, which you can see kind of coincides with what this is without the food in front of it. This inventory name, that's what these are called inside of the game. So when you see them show up inside of the inventory, this is the name that is selected for those. I have some other variables that don't get used very often. Speed and max speed obviously don't get used much. Always static and start awake, they use some, but every single thing I always have in this level are set to false. There's also item type, which item type has the ability to do item or power up. Most all of these are set to item. I only have the one power up right now, which is the gas tank. So let's look around the level at kind of what I got going on in the level here. So there's a bunch of cars set up inside of here. This light blue system here, which you can see here, is my birds. It follows the same sort of path following logic as the other ones. The only difference is it's up in the air, and there's only one path for all of these birds. I've made it look a little bit different by their anchor points. So you can see the anchor points here, but the bird is up here. And then if you come over here, you can see this bird's way off of the anchor point, so it flies a lot higher. And then I've got, like you can see, based on their anchor points, I can also make them sort of fly together like this. Even though they're only following that same spline, they look like they're offset, but they're both following that same flying structure. So if I go into the game, let's see, you can see you'll be able to see there's one of the birds. It's funny when it's loading in, all the birds kind of fly straight upright until the level finishes loading. And then once it loads, then they kick back into gear. But you can see there's some birds flying. Here comes one of the cars. I'll let it hit me. So see, now that I'm this way, if I hold the jump button, then it rights me, so then I can go again. Let's see, I can fly over here. Let's see, I think there's some people that should be walking over here. Let's see if I can see them. Yeah, there's someone walking. I think I need to slow down their walk cycle. They're walking a little fast for how their steps they're taking. Other weird thing that I haven't been able to figure out yet is they kind of lean like they're walking a little more to the right, like they're tilted a little bit, and I haven't been able to figure out why that is. But yeah, I got quite a bit of the level built. I have over here on this side of the level, there's some more birds in the air. I have a couple little bugs. One is where these meshes line up for the street. Sometimes I'll be driving along, which you can see I was just stuck on that little between the meshes here, where the intersection and this thing interlap. There's times where it sticks, and I'm not exactly sure why that is, and I haven't been able to figure that out yet. But you can see I can go along here. And this is one of the gas stations. There's multiple throughout the level. What my thought is I'm going to take the power-ups of the gas cans and put them in front of these gas pumps so you can come in here, and this is where you would go to suck up gas. Over here, let's go down this way through the level. I still have some birds that are not doing what they're supposed to. You can see them up there. They're flashing and angled upwards. Those are ones that cannot, for some reason, find the specific path they're supposed to be on. So they just kind of make that weirdness. If you come over here, I have one of the other NPCs already set up to create a mission with. I just haven't done that yet. But there's another NPC that's a construction worker. I figured I can do something related to the construction of this building here that they have. The cool thing is almost all these objects in the level will interact with physics, which is great because you can see how they kind of bounce and move around. It does create some things like that whoop, there it comes right back up. I have logic set so that if if it clips out of the level, it will hit a border that's underneath the level, and that will then shoot it back up into the level. So you don't. The same thing with the tank. If you accidentally get out of the level, it'll put you right back into the level. So, um, but yeah, I got boxes over here and this whole little level thing built. You can see here I am again stuck on the different level spots. I'm totally unsure why this is happening. I've got to figure that out at some point. But yeah, this is what I got going on right now. I figure I'll start doing whenever I'm doing the game development, I will come in here and start it live. That way I can keep a stream going of all of the updates to the game as they're moving along. This is only my second real foray into the Unreal Engine. I built a game for Halloween where I had built a custom Canon controllers and built a Halloween game where you're inside a spaceship and you were trying to uh, collect all of the zombies that were coming at you inside of the level. Oh, there we go, out of the level, and you can see there it pops you back in. I got to figure out why this mesh here does not want to keep people within it. I don't know what's up with this mesh and why it just lets people fall through the floor. It only does it on some occasions too, and I'm not exactly sure what it is that causes the occasions to happen. But yeah, the cars have a cool system, so let me kind of show that off too. The car system is really neat. I like how I set this up. So uh, there's multiple splines here, which you can see, and then each spline, when the car gets to the end of a spline, it looks at the current splines that are next up, and it will randomly choose one of them. So you can see here, if I look at, say, this one on the spline path, uh, here on the target spline, the next spline options that it has available to it are 55, 56, and 57, which are these three pathways. So it picks one at random and it moves it. So that way these aren't moving in a set pattern. They're moving completely random, which does make it look a little more organic within the game. I still need to add a few more cars into the level, But overall, I think it's pretty good with where we're at. I was gonna see if it was these two over here that are being stupid. Let's see. This follow spline component is 260. This follow spline component is 260. It must not be these birdies that are having the problem unless this is not 260. Let's see. Yeah, that's 260. So they should be on it. So yeah, I got to figure out which birds it is that are complaining uh, about that. But that's a bug to fix later. I'll look at this one though. Yeah, 260. So yeah, so I've got some building stuff to do left. Like those are all just generic kind of buildings. You can see over here I have some generics I still need to fill in. These are generics that I need to fill in and make prettier. Same as right there. But I have this little area here, which is sort of like around the soccer stadium that I have. There's some bars and food because I figured there'd be shops and bars and stuff around there, as well as a little hotel here that's kind of set up here nicely with a little back courtyard area. Apartment buildings. We got some residential throughout this. We've got a bank. We've got a couple restaurants here that have areas that have started to fill in. You go over here. There's some more that I gotta build and change from the default ones here. I've got a hospital over here. I've got an observatory, which we can have a scientist mission. Over here we have a fire department, so we can have a fire department mission. I'd like to make it where I can suck water up. That's one of the things. There's a police station for a police mission. We can obviously have a lot of food missions because we have multiples of those. Can have a shop mission, can have a soccer mission. So quite a few different little missions we can set up and make happen within this level. Here's a little restaurant, needs some stuff around it, but I mean it's easy to start filling these in with the way I built this system because you can just start grabbing things, dragging them in, then going in here and selecting whatever it is that you want. So if I want it to be a different kind of tree, I can choose from all these different tree options, and I can quickly start grabbing quite a few of these and then move them around, change which ones they are. And you can see you can quickly start building out something that looks a little nicer in a short manner. So yeah, you'll see even that alone makes it look a little more filled out there. The level is completely blocked off by this brick wall. There's bounding boxes here, which you can kind of see right here. These yellow, the one that's now labeled yellow, that is what keeps everyone within inside of the level. So there's no way to fly up and over. That will block them from being able to get out of this level. And that's about it. Here's a nice little courtyard that I set up. Another little residential neighborhood. I need to fix the paint here. That's not right anymore. So we can go into landscape mode. Paint. We can go in here. We can paint back the green grass like that. And then I can come in with some ground and make a pathway like that. Use a little bit lighter color. There, that looks better. Turn back to selection mode. Yeah, see, I need to do that there too once I start cleaning this whole area up, because that's not perfect. It's okay, but yeah, there's like, I need to get rid of that kind of stuff, clean it up a little better. Another gas station. But yeah, I need to put a lot of little objects to suck up. That's going to be the big task, is just finding lots of little debris and stuff that I can make interactable that can be used for either finding Easter eggs or completing missions, whatnot. So yeah, this is what I've got going on right now in this game. This has taken me to get to this point, it's taken me about, I think I've been working on this since June, so 3 months. Uh, Lot of stuff to learn along the way. I still haven't even brushed the surface on a lot of it. I'm just learning the animation system, which is what I use to make these walk and make these move. I haven't yet got to sound within the game, so I still got to do sound and figure out how sound works within Unreal Engine. It looks fairly straightforward. I think I can figure that one out. But yeah, I've got the main building blocks of this built out. So now it's just a matter of starting to go in and actually build the game out. So that's what I thought these streams could be for is can go in here and I can start building out these things. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the comment there. It looks nice. Yes. Uh, this is using a couple of packs that I found online. Uh, all of the items come from a couple different ones. There's a site called poly.pizza. There's a person that goes by the name, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, Quaternus. And they've made a ton of objects. And they had you could subscribe to their Patreon and then get a download of all of them. So I subscribed and downloaded all of the objects that they have. So they have, as you can see, quite a few different items. This is all the food items that they have in here. Then I downloaded a couple other ones that I bought. I purchased a stadium kit. That was what gave me the soccer stadium over here. Then I've got in here, there's a low poly forest I bought. This gave me a few more meshes that I was able to use. So some trees, some mountains. That's what this is in the background here. And then some of the trees came from that one. And then I've got over here, I've got the City Professions pack. This gave me all of my characters inside of the game. So you can see I've got quite a few to choose from here. I've got a little astronaut that I can use. I've got lots of different ones of these characters that I can throw into my game. So these will be all the ones that are either just NPCs walking around or ones specific to different missions that we can have within the game. Inside here, let's see what else we got. Low Poly Town. This is where a majority of my models have come from. You can see in here, here's all the different house types that they have. This is the base of every single one. The cool thing about these is they've got a material system, so I can do 3 variations on each of these. So it helps to break up the level and make them look a little bit different. Here's most of the trees and stuff that I'm using within the game, although I'm using some others from some other packs. The road system here, which we've got barriers. I haven't done road signs yet. I'd like to do some of those and get some of those into the game. I've got pretty much everything else inside of here. Hydrants are in the game. I haven't added any street lights yet into anything, but not a big deal. And then I've got, let's see, what else is in here? Oh, these are the cars that are from within the game. Same with this. Every single one of these has 3 variations of colors that you can choose from, so you can get some different options. Makes the cars look a little more like we have more than the models are actually there. And let's see, what else do I have in here that I haven't shown off? Loading screens. This has got some just generic scenes here, but if you, instead of loading in level 1, if you load in the main menu level and start the game from there, let's do open recent. So if I start it from this level here, I've got it set up so that you have your menu system. Obviously, I need to make this look a little prettier. This was just to make sure that I had it working. The screenshot's a little old. That's definitely not the level as it looks now. I do have some of these things set up. I have an options, but I don't have anything in there for options. You can exit, and this takes you back out, and then the start game obviously will take you to the start of the game here. I don't know why it's not showing me the loading screen whenever I'm flipping. It should show a loading screen, which should allow